Welcome back. David Pena here. Listen, I want to talk to you about this beautiful book. Amazing, one of the best books I have ever read. I wish I had it here. I have it in my house. I have it in my nightstand, and I was going to grab it today to bring it and have it here. I was going to show it here. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Let's put it right here. The Richest Man in Babylon is one of the greatest books I have ever read. And it talks about, this goes back with the video I did last week. It goes back about paying yourself first. You go to work. You make a certain amount of money. You make $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month. You have to pay yourself first. You have to say, okay, this is for me. I'm not going to pay the IRS. I'm not going to pay the shoemaker. I'm not going to pay the electricity man. I'm going to pay myself first. And that is the whole perspective of the book, to pay yourself first. Make yourself the priority you want to be. That is the book. So it says to pay yourself at least 10% of your income, build some reserves, save that money, and in the long term, you're going to invest it in items that you know about. In the story, it's a great written, it's a book well written, and it's so easy to read because it's about stories. We love storytellers. We love hearing stories, and that's the best way to communicate is through stories. So the book starts with these guys who are very poor. The guy is it's repairing a coach. A coach is what they used to use before it was like a car. So, but these guys were fixing this coach for these very wealthy people. And he was like, he's talking to a friend. And he's like, how is it that these people, the rich, are always getting rich and we are poor? So the whole conversation, and they start talking about if the rich were to give away their money to the poor in months, or years, that money will go back to those rich people. Why is it? Why is it that we cannot attain wealth? So this guy meets a very wealthy guy. I forgot their names because this is written in the Babylonian times. It's probably 3000, 2000 BC. And the book talks about, he finds this mentor. The guy is doing some work, and this super wealthy guy comes in to the shop and says, hey, how can I learn about money? And the guy says, listen, I can teach you about money if you could get me this whatever he was working. I think he was doing Smith or whatever he was doing. And the guy is like, yeah, I'll work overnight so I can get this to you. And he did. So the next day is like, the guy comes back and picks up his stuff, and he's like, you have to pay yourself first. And he goes on and says, you pay everybody else. You pay your landlord. You pay the banks first before you pay yourself after you get a salary. Instead, pay yourself first. 10% of your income. Put it in a different account. Write yourself a check and pay yourself first. And so the guy starts paying himself first, and then he meets a bricklayer. Okay? The bricklayer, he becomes friends with the bricklayer, and the bricklayer says, dude, I have a great business opportunity. You have some money, because this guy had been saving for a year, right? And says, you have some money. Give me that money, and I'm gonna go to the town next door, and I'm gonna buy some rubies. And rubies, diamonds. And the guy is like, okay, that's fine. Gives him the money. He goes to the port, and he goes and buys these rubies. Comes back. He got stiff. They sold him something that it was nothing close to diamonds or rubies, whatever. So he lost that money. So the rich guy comes to the shop and says, hey man, how you doing? How's your business going? And he's like, I just invested some of the money, whatever, X amount of money with this guy. And he's like, we were trying to buy rubies. And the guy is like, does this guy know us about rubies? And he's like, no, he's a bricklayer. And he's like, Aktar, whatever his name was. He's like, look, if you want to learn about bricks, you talk to the person that lays or makes bricks. If you want to learn about diamonds, you want to talk to the person that deals and makes diamonds. Whatever you want to learn, you have to talk to that person. And we bring it back to today. If you want to learn about real estate, you want to talk to somebody who knows about real estate, somebody who knows about the game, somebody who's in the game, who's investing in real estate. You cannot talk to your neighbor and somebody who's never owned a property or invested in real estate and is telling you now is a really bad time to buy. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. So going back to the book, right? So the guy is like, look, this is what you do. Then some time went by. The guy started working again and saving. He was paying himself first. And months went by. He came back and it's like, hey, how's everything going? How's the business going? And says, oh yeah, I've been saving and I got some new endeavors, and I don't really have. And he's like, have you invested diamonds and have you bought diamonds with a bricklayer? And he's like, nah. If I wanted to learn about bricks, I will go talk to him. But if I want to learn about diamonds, I'm gonna go talk to a person who knows about diamonds. And so the whole book is written in stories. Great. It's an easy read. And if you don't read the book, if you don't pick up the book, this is what I want to tell you. You want to pay yourself first. Again, pay yourself first. At least 10% of your income should go to you to put it in a different account. I went into more details the other video I did the other week. But this one is, I want you to focus on pay yourself first. The Richest Man of Babylon is one of the greatest books I've read on financial literacy, and it also talks about giving. But if you don't want to focus, I don't want to focus too much on that. I just want to focus on the fact that you want to pay yourself first. Put aside at least 10% of your income, and within years you will be investing that money. And listen, we live in a society that everybody knows. Everybody's an expert on something. You watch a YouTube video and you're like, oh, this guy talking about not investing in real estate. I should listen to this guy. It's like, no, listen, you have to talk to the people who are doing things that you want to do. If you want to invest in crypto, if that's what you want to do, you want to go find somebody who knows about crypto so you can invest in it. If you want to invest in the stock market, go find somebody who knows about the stock market and invest with him. If you want to invest in real estate, come talk to me. Send me a direct message, comment below or whatever. Get in touch with me and I will guide you through the process. Find that person that is the person that you want to learn from. Okay. Also, the book talks about not doing favors for friends, not lending friends money. He tells a story about this donkey. It was this donkey and the mule. The mule used to work so hard, right? And it was in the stable. The donkey had its stable, and the mule was right here. And the mule is like, I work so hard, and you just carry the master in your back, and you go around the city showing off. That's all you do. You get fed, you get all the food you want, and I toil under the sun, sunrise to sunset, all day, every day, without a rest, while you're just sitting here and relaxing. So the donkey is trying to be helpful. He's like, I have a great idea for you, buddy. This is what you do tomorrow when the helper comes and is trying to get you to work. Lay down, pretend that you're sick. That way, they won't force you to go to work. They will have to give you the day off. So the morning comes, and that's exactly what happened. The servant came, and he's trying to get the mule to work, right? And the ox, and he's like, the ox doesn't get up. He's sick. So the servant is like, okay, well, we got some work to do outside, so we're gonna get the donkey. So he comes and gets the donkey, and the donkey toils that whole day, while the ox is just chilling in the stable. So at the end of the night, the donkey comes, and the ox is like, oh my gosh, dude, you were right. Thank you so much for giving me that advice. Look, I took the day off, And the donkey's so mad, and he's like, well, you were sitting here, I was freaking working hard. He's like, well, you better get well, because I heard the servant talk, and if you're not well by tomorrow, they will put you down. And after that night, the donkey and the ox never spoke again. So the writer is referring to when you do someone a favor, somebody comes in, a family member, a friend, they want to borrow some money because they know you've been saving, and you're trying to be helpful. You try to lend them the money, and they might never pay you that money back. That means that relationship will be ruined. I mean, that donkey and the ox never spoke again. The writer says, after that night, after what happened, they never spoke again. And it's an amazing illustration, because I have lent money, and sometimes not a lot of money, to people that are pretending to be friends or whatever, and you do it and they never pay you back. And if you ask them for the money back, they're like, bro, are you that broke? I had a tenant once. This guy was living with me, a roommate. We went to Costco, and he's like, can you pay and I'll pay you back? He was like, $100. It was not a lot of money. And yeah, it's $100. So I pay, and I was like, okay, dude, you gotta pay. He's like, and it was like a couple weeks before he moved out. It was my mistake, right? And he's like, and I'm like, bro, are you gonna pay me the $100? He's like, David, you don't need $100. $100 for you is nothing. And I'm like, okay, cool. I made a mental note. I was like, okay, this guy it only cost me $100 to know that this person is not an honest and valuable person. So sometimes you want to take the risk, but you want to do it. I mean, $100 is $100, but to know that this guy was not a good person, not an honest guy, it was worth it. But if it would have been a good friend of mine, then I would have been heartbroken, and it would have caused a friendship. So that's exactly what the writer talks about, that illustration in that book. And so yeah, it's gonna be like, I'm gonna make a small clip. It says, do not make favors for your friends. No, do not lend money to friends, especially if you know that they might not pay you back. So yeah, the bottom line of that book is, pay yourself first, at least 10% of your income, and you will reach financial freedom and be great.